Maud looked at Chesteron like the devil at the Holy Cross. "Joseph," she said to him quite formally, "I want you to go." "All right, Maud, I'll just pack my things. I haven't got much." "Sit down," Donna commanded. "Mom, are you kicking him out?" "Dawn, he's a danger to you." Joe looked at Donna, twitched an eyebrow, shrugged, and stood up to start packing his suitcase. "I said sit down," Donna shouted. She turned to her mother, squinted her eyes, and asked snidely, "Can you please explain to me, Mom, how Joe is a danger to me? What do you mean what? What do you mean what? He seduced you. He seduced you. He... Maud could not find the words for her indignation. "Mom, look at me. I'm 22. I'm getting my degree in psychology this year. Do you think I can be seduced?" But he's... You're with him, aren't you?" "Yes, Mom. You're right. I slept with him a little bit. That doesn't mean he seduced me, much less raped me. I've been practicing Aikido for 2 years. I can do whatever you want. If the neighbors find out, it'll be a scandal. He's your uncle, and he's 10 years older than you. Think, my daughter, if you want that kind of fame." "Uh-huh. There you go. Let me ask you, Mom, do you care about the neighbors' happiness or my happiness? Eh? Of course I care about you. Donnie, I'm scared for you." Donna put her arm around Maud. "Mom, calm down, huh? There's nothing scary going on. If you don't raise a scandal, no one will say anything. Nobody cares. Do you understand? And even if they do find out, let them find out. It's none of their business. I'll tell you more if I'm going to marry my uncle." She's corrected herself. "To my great-uncle, I won't ask anyone, not even you. Maud is 43 years old. She's Joseph's cousin. To be precise, she's the daughter of his mother's sister. And Donna is his great-niece." "I guess so. Donnie's not beautiful. No one's gonna let her on the runway. But her classic face, straight nose, plump lips, and big brown eyes make this smart woman desirable. Add to that a mop of brown hair, a size 3 bust, and a naughty round ass, tightly encased in jeans. Yes, Donnie is not a beauty, but she is lovely and attractive with her health, youth, and cheerfulness. After all, she's sensible too. She and Donna had sinned. They sinned once, then another. They enjoyed it. 2 lonelinesses coming together. This year everything went wrong. It's all crooked and slanted. First in January, Mark Austin, Maud's husband and Donna's father, died. A heart attack. Then in the summer, Donna caught her boyfriend with her own friend. No, they weren't fucking. They were just kissing each other and fornicating with their hands. But it was... Donna catching her fiancé in the act of dishonesty was the end of everything. But the first thing it was the end of them. It wasn't over for the fiancé or the girlfriend. And in early September, Chesteron was in trouble. Lucky to be alive. When Joseph returned home, he found he wasn't the only guest in his wife's bed. There was even a little line forming. So he left. Then he was tried, acquitted, rewarded. He left, went to the next town, filed for divorce, and temporarily settled in Lafayette in Maud's cabin. She invited him. Why spend money on a motel room when your sister's got a couple of empty rooms? Doni, after breaking up with her fiancé, suffered for 6 months. She vacillated between wanting to forgive and return on the one hand and revenge on the other. Then Joseph came along. They were a good match. They were interested in each other. And somehow, unbeknownst to themselves, they ended up in bed, just like that, sitting there, talking, sharing their grief. Then bam, they're in the kitchen, kissing like crazy, and after a couple minutes of hot bodies intertwined, bang, and the uncle and niece are already without underwear. Jeans, boxers, and panties flew aside, and the madness began. After the first rendezvous, the lovers were embarrassed and kept their distance from each other. But literally the next day, it happened again. And it was on and on. It was like a frenzy. Neither Joseph nor Donna could resist the temptation. It was beyond them. Then, 4 months later, they admitted in a frank conversation that yes, it was love. What else could it be? And then they just stopped resisting the call of their bodies and went with the flow of the river called passion. Once, in a conversation with one of her classmates, Donna got honest. She asked what had happened to her. Austin clarified, "What makes you think something's wrong with me? Look at yourself in the mirror. You're glowing. Come on, Dawn. You got a new boyfriend and a new love?" "You know, Beryl," Donna said thoughtfully. "Well," hurried her friend, he's not a guy. He's a man." "How many years?" "I don't know. I'd have to count. but somewhere around 30. How's that going? Beryl was curious. With him. He's different. Not like Tom. Beryl dragged her friend to the park and sat her down on a bench. Tell me. Donna was shy at first, using interjections. Then she broke down and told me everything. You know Barry. He doesn't torment me the way Tommy did. I don't know what to say. Tommy doesn't know how to do anything. And Joseph, I don't know how to say this. I'm mesmerized by him. It's all so gentle and tender and unstoppable, you know? Donnie covered her face with her hands like a schoolgirl, and Beryl's friend's head was spinning. What the hell is he doing? Come on, tell me what he's doing. He's kind of sneaking up on me. He's doing magic on me. The tension builds gradually and smoothly, and then bang, and he keeps going, doesn't stop. And again, I swim away, and again, bang, like a truck hit me. But it's so good, so sweet. And again, I don't know, I didn't count. At least 3 or 4 times, sometimes more. It's like getting caught in a whirlpool. You get sucked in and you can't get out. Oh, Beryl, I'm scared. Oh my God, of what? When it's over, when it's gone. I don't know how I'm going to live. I can't do it any other way. How often do you do this? If I let him, he'd do it all day, every day. But I get tired. I take 1 day off a week, Monday. And then when I can't physically do it. Yeah, it's an interesting life you lead. He's a sexual marathoner. You know, Donna sighed. He says things to me. Things. Sometimes his words make me, what the hell is he saying to you? Shh, Barry, don't yell. We'll be noticed. Beryl looked around. There's no one there. Tell me all about it. What does he say to you? Well, stuff. No, I can't repeat it. It's private, you know. It's very personal. He says things to her sometimes, too. Who's her? Well, her. Donna pointed down. Is he talking to your pussy? Oh, yes. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. I'm gonna cry with envy. Beryl paused, looked at the ducks swimming in the pond, and then she said, Donnie, you have to introduce me to him. Why? Don was surprised. I want to match his psychotype with his phenotype. Don't worry, I'm not going to use him for personal reasons. It's professional. Donna smiled. You want to understand. How do you figure out a guy like my Joseph? Yeah, you're right. Believe me, Beryl, he's completely ordinary. Totally. I'm a psychologist, too, and I hope I'm a good one. But I don't see anything peculiar about his appearance or his behavior. There's nothing about him that suggests he's a lover extraordinaire. There's one thing I don't understand. His wife cheated on him. Did she find someone who does it better than him? Joseph didn't understand it either. I wonder if it's all about linear size. That September he came home earlier than expected. He'd escaped from the hospital where he'd been laid up with a fractured radius in his left forearm and a slight contusion. He got lucky. Jess Brickman, his old friend, was killed in that mess. In fact, he and Corporal Fain were the only 2 survivors of the squad. Fain took a bullet in the knee and went into surgery for a long time. The other 8 men arrived in their hometown in garbage bags. What was that? Mismanagement of the DEA or sloppy planning by headquarters? Who the hell knows? But the task force got screwed. No one even expected that the cargo would arrive on a German submarine from the Second World War, class Seal. And no one expected that this submarine was equipped with a French 30mm aviation gun. It was in the Rockefeller Wildlife Refuge, Vermilion County. It's all swamps and crocodiles. Can you believe it? 1,000 acres of swamps and brush. This drug trail wasn't discovered until August of '08. They were expecting a big shipment of cocaine in September, 14 tons, and now it's here. Chesteron, as part of the Abbeville Police Detachment, was assigned to support the Federal Drug Enforcement Administration team. Once the cocaine was offloaded, well, the feds don't have to offload it on land, right? The operation began. But it went completely off the rails. The drug dealers, instead of raising their hands and surrendering to the mercy of justice, started shooting. They were supported by light artillery from the submarine. Joseph himself shot 3 of the intruders in the meat grinder, but then came under fire from the cannon. A piece of wood cracked him on the top of his head, and he lost consciousness. Where and when he broke his arm is unknown. The 30mm Defu with a burst projectile can never be compared to the 9mm Glock 17. No comparison whatsoever. Chesteron was personally convinced of that. He and Jonathan Fain, along with 12 dead bodies, both local cops and feds, were flown out in a helicopter. The drug caravan was intercepted on LA 82, arrested everyone, but that didn't make Joseph feel any better. 2 weeks in the hospital. He couldn't take it. He called a cab and went home to his Denise in his hospital clothes. He'd rather lie quietly in his room. His beloved wife, whom he'd deified all 6 years of their marriage and whom he'd wanted to please with his appearance, was having sex like a March cat with some bastard in their bedroom. "Come on, Adams. Don't stop. Harder. More." Joe froze in the middle of the living room in a stupor. He just didn't know what to do. It was as if a vat of ice water had been poured on him. Or, more accurately, feces. Finally, he made up his mind. He went into his office, took a Remington pump action from the safe, loaded it with 3 cartridges, and calmly went upstairs. Adams, a large man, athletically built, equipped with a fancy device, much larger than average, had Denise over the arm of the chair and was trying to tear her apart with his ogle. Joseph knew the male. It was his wife's boss, the head of the Vermilion County Tourism Department. "You fucking acrobats!" Chesteron marveled. Adams, seeing the barrel pointed at him, froze with the prong shoved at the woman, and Denise shrieked and tried to get off the hypertrophied organ. But the chair prevented her from breaking contact. "Denise, don't move," Joseph asked. "Stay like that." The lovers froze in a piquant pose. They were silent for a long time, for a minute. Then the wife asked, "Darling, what are you going to do?" Joe finally came to a decision. "What can I do?" he replied, exaggeratedly sad. He was quiet for a moment and then asked, "Hey man, where are your clothes?" V, Adams stammered. And to be more specific, raised the barrel of the owner. "Down there." The catcher finally managed to exhale. "Then get your buddy out of my wife and get out of here." With a loud smack, the man pulled his monstrous dick out of Denise and headed for the door. But Joe stopped him. "Wait a minute. I've been thinking. Joseph, please, I'll do anything you say. I'll give you all my money." The lover. "Oh, shut up, onion sack. I don't want your fucking money. That's not what I mean." Adams is in a hurry. "Joe, believe me, she did it herself. She asked me out, and she took me into the bedroom." "Shut up," the deceived husband said angrily. "So that's it. I think—" Denise tried to straighten herself over the chair, but Joseph, waving his gun, sternly ordered, "Stay still, my dear. Don't provoke me. I'm nervous and I might do something stupid." Yes, my love, if you say so. I'm standing." "Well, here's the thing. I think," Joe turned to the man, "she should be punished, right?" Adams nodded vigorously. "But I can't hit her. I love that bitch, so you're gonna have to—" "You want me to hit her?" the naked man asked in surprise. "Yeah, man, yes. No, not with your fist, of course." Chesteron stopped him. "Just slap her. Give him a black eye. Break your nose and your lips. What else?" "Pinch her tits and slap her ass," Adams suggested. "Good boy." Joe praised the initiative. "Get on with it." For 5 minutes the exertion lasted, which was funny to say. Denise only squealed and tried to cover herself with her hands. When Joseph decided he'd had enough, he shot Adams in the back of the head. Blew his fucking skull off. 10 gauge, what do you want?" The woman opened her eyes in horror and opened her mouth. "Shut up," the husband commanded, and the wife didn't make a sound. "Put on your robe and let's go into the living room to talk." What about—" Denise pointed her finger at the decapitated corpse. "Don't worry, darling. He won't steal anything and he won't go anywhere. Get your fucking clothes on. Hurry up." The wife walked warily down to the living room and sat down at the table opposite her husband. "You know," he began, "I had 3 rounds in my gun. 2 for you creatures, and 1 for me. But I changed my mind. Listen carefully to what we're going to do to you. Are you listening?" Yes, nodded the traitor. "Okay. You've come here to discuss some business. What kind of business is up to you, but unexpectedly, understand? Suddenly he jumped you and dragged you into the bedroom, beating you up on the way. Do you understand?" Denise realized that she was not going to be killed, and with the determination of someone who had escaped death, shook her head. Yes. He made you undress and undressed himself. And then, how long have you been tumbling? Yes, 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 Denise nodded. Da-da-da-da what? You idiot, I said. How long did you do it in the bedroom? Oh, yeah, I get it. 2 hours. She looked at the wall clock. Almost 2 hours. Right. So he raped and beat you for 2 hours, do you understand? Yes, 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 dear. So you're the victim and he's the villain. I saved you from the rapist and he got what he deserved. Do you understand? Yeah, 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 Joe. If the truth comes out, and the only way it's gonna get out is from you, I'll go to jail. But, I don't think it'll be for long. No, it won't. And you'll be a disgraced whore. Loss of reputation, loss of job, loss of family, etc. Denise had calmed down a bit and was starting to think. So we made it look like I was being raped and you came and saved me? Is that it? Oh, thank God, you've got it. Joseph, darling, I agree. I'll say anything you want me to say. I'll do everything the way you want me to. And Joe called 911. As services drove to the scene, Joe got one more detail from his wife, Denise. Yeah, honey. Chesteron was starting to get annoyed by her da-da-da-da-da. But he ignored the little inconvenience. We've been married 6 years. How many lovers have you had in that time? Joe, darling, that was the first and last time. Joseph squinted angrily. Denise, my dear, I want to give you a lie detector test. Maybe we shouldn't waste money on stupid things. Why don't you just tell me the truth? Well? The wife lowered her eyes. 5 to 10. The husband prompted. Silence. 10 to 15. Joe was surprised. Silence again. What? 15 to 20? Chesteron suggested, dumbfounded. Yes, but darling, they meant nothing to me. I love only you, whispered his wife. All right, calm down, it's all right. Hold on, the police are coming. You must feel bad. Of course, then there was the trial. At the trial, the prosecution tried to prove premeditated, cold-blooded murder. In Vermilion, the prosecutor's office was always at odds with the police, always trying to hurt her. They seem to be doing the same thing, but it's unclear where the animosity comes from. The DA's office based its conclusions on Joseph's performance review. Calm, poised, does not get lost in difficult situations, courageous and decisive. A spokesman for the prosecution argued that such a man could not lose his self-control enough to kill a man, and he beat his wife himself to avoid going to trial. Well, he was close to the truth. The judge asked the deputy prosecutor, Mr. Gerald, there were skin particles and Denise Chesteron's blood on the deceased's hands. How do you explain that? I believe they were applied after death. Joseph sat in the dock, gaping at the audacity of it. But the department's in-house counsel, an old geezer, calmly proved the contrary to the jury. Gentlemen, I don't suppose you know the background of this, I must say, sad case. Imagine a man whose best friend was murdered in front of his eyes 3 days ago, and he himself, defending the American people from the invasion of drug traffickers, received a severe contusion and a broken arm. So he comes home to his adoring wife, and what does he see? A man beating and raping his dear wife. Think about it, gentlemen. Think about what you'd do if you were him. No further argument was needed. 2 weeks later, Chesteron was summoned to Baton Rouge for an award ceremony. The senator presented him with the Louisiana State Medal of Valor. That's 20% toward his pension. In addition, a representative of the Federal National Association brought him the Silver Star Medal from Washington, D.C., for service equal to military service, another 10% to his pension. That's it. It would seem, live and rejoice. But there was no joy. In early December, Chesteron divorced his wife in a summary divorce. The wife apparently realized that they had nothing in common ahead of them, and that litigating the divorce case would only make matters worse. Therefore, she uncomplainingly signed the application for divorce and in the mayor's office behaved with great composure and dignity. But before that, he had Donna. Just before Christmas, Joe sat in his bedroom at his sister's house thinking about his future. There was a knock on the door, and without waiting for an invitation, he walked in. It was Donna. Well, who else could be so cavalier? She sat down on the bed next to Chesteron, and they were silent for a long time, staring at each other. Finally, Donna couldn't take it anymore. Are you going to sit there like that? I'm thinking, Joseph explained. And I'm not to interrupt your thoughts? Donnie, you can always tell me everything directly and frankly, so go ahead. Dawn reached into her pocket and pulled out a box. It's the kind of box they sell rings in jewelry stores. I was thinking you'd never get around to it, so I had to do the work myself. You're proposing to me, Joe wondered. No, I'm not. You're proposing to me. We'll go to Olive Garden, have a beer, eat pasta. It's close by. Here. Joseph already knew what this girl was up to. And you'll ask me to be your wife. How's that? Right now? Why wait? Could you do it nicely? You know, all the medals. Get down on one knee. Of course I could. I have experience. I've already made reservations and invited my friends. They'll be happy for me. Joe continues to stare at the wall in silence. Joseph, don't you want to marry me? Donna got worried. Where's Maud? She is delayed at work today. What time is your reservation? 9:30. That gives us an hour and a half. Come here.